today, and we are starting with Zapier. You might be asking, what is Zapier? Zapier is a software tool that offers automation, integration, and artificial intelligence to help connect softwares and manage workflows. So this is basically a third party tool that helps connect different apps together and also solely for automation. We are right here. We've gone through the process of creating your account. You can use a temporary email or your main Google account. And we are right here on Zapier's dashboard. So we are going to go through all these buttons we are seeing all over to know what they do. So let's start with this search button. This here you can use it to search by app, any app that Zapier can integrate with. You can search any app. Let's search like QuickBook. Yeah, this is a quick access to all the apps, and Zapier can integrate with over 6,000 apps. Help. This is the help center where you can get any help and can contact in their support. You can lay your request over here. This is basically your help center right here. Explore apps. This also serves like the search button we saw earlier, where you can explore apps, different apps that Zapier can connect with. This is what basically what the explore tab does. The contact sale. This is where you can contact Zapier sales, especially if you want to buy any plan. This is where you can, if you check here, Zapier for a month, the pro plan, the paid feature runs for $19 per 99 cent, 0.99 cent. So this this is where you can go over to set up your account fully well for you to upgrade your Zapier account or buy the pro plan. And this over here is basically your profile tab. This initials your personal tab and profile tab, where you can go over to adjust many settings, your profile settings, the notification settings, and for if you come over to this notification settings, there is something you can always do here. You can manage your notification settings. Yes, how frequently you want Zapier to notify you of your zaps, your workflow, your automation, and all that security and data. Here you can add your two-factor authentication, can add your third party apps, SSL certificate checks, data management, securities like this. This is where you can go over them. You can delete any data here from here. You can also delete any account from here. Billing and usage. Here, this is where you see your current plan. Yes, we are currently on the pro plan because we are exploring the free 14 days free trial of the pro plan. You can manage your plan here. If you click on it, you can change your plan. Maybe go over to the enterprise plan or teams plan. This is basically where you view your billings and your usage. Members. This is where, and if you can see, these members can only be unlocked when you're using the teams plan. You can check these three features now, the members, the advanced security, and the audit log. It means they are not accessible on this pro plan we are using. You can only access them when you're using a Teams plan. That is what it means. It's obviously locked. We can't use it because we're using the pro plan, not the teams plan. You have to contact your sales and upgrade before you can use this three, the audit log, the advanced security, and the members. Okay, let's go over. Yes, let's come over here. On this button, this create button, this is where you create your automation. And automation in Zapier is called Zaps. So any workflow you create, one workflow is called a Zap. This is where you click on and you start creating your automations or you start creating your Zaps. We are basically on the home page. This is where we are already. A discover tab. On the discover tab, you can explore, you can search templates, any template, sales, featured. These are the featured templates here. Lead magnet, sales pipeline, customer support, just man ticket and incident. This is where you can discover more things on the Zapier software. They use look at them, they're also outlined there. So if you're going if you want to discover anything on the lead management, you can just click on this, the sales pipeline and all that. That is basically what the discover button is for. So this is where, like I said earlier, automations created in Zapier are called Zaps. So this is where your created Zaps are going to line up. This is the first Zap we created before our interruption. You can see it's here already. So if we keep creating, they keep lining up here. This is basically where you see your Zap, your created Zaps. You see the apps that you connected. You see the location, last modified, the status is actually active. The Zap is on. The owner who created it. This is basically what you see on this interface. Tables. Zapier also have the tables feature, just like Airtable has. Yes, Zapier also have their table feature. I don't know why it's keeping it's taking time to load. Yeah. The Zapier also have there. You can import data, you can start blank, you name the table, you give the table a name, you give the description, or it's not actually important, it's not needed, but the name, the table must have a name. You give the description, then you go ahead to create the table. You can also choose any table from the template library. That is basically what the Zapier table is for. um, let's go over to interface. Like I said earlier, the interface is having an issue from the Zapier their software. So it hardly opens. But what the interface does is this is where you create forms. Yeah, just like Airtable has forms where you create Airtable forms. This is where you create Zapier forms. It takes time to load. It doesn't even load. For it's over a month I've been trying it and I've been seeing most of these complaints, similar complaints on their on WhatsApp and Zapier community. So it's actually not from us. If you try your own and you see it, please let us know. And it opens, please let us know. Chatbots. If you see these three features, they are bearing this bit better. And what this means is that these Zapier features are newly released features that Zapier incorporated in their software. So chatbots are like they are like your mini virtual assistants that responds to your customers when you're not around, when you are actually busy because there's no how um you'll be on your business 24/7. You have family, you have your personal life. So is businesses nowadays and the way the world is actually going, the introduction of AI and all that, chatbots are important for businesses. So you can create a chatbot in Zapier and you integrate it on your website so that when customers land on your website or your landing pages anywhere or your WhatsApp, yes, you can create it, or your Telegram, you can just create a chatbot where they can converse and maybe ask their questions related to your business. And one thing with the chatbot is that it's only going to respond to your customers with the information you loaded it with. Yes, we are going to, when we get to this stage, we are going to see how it works. The chatbot will only respond to your customers according to the information you gave it. If what your customers are asking and the information was not loaded on the chatbot, it cannot answer it. Yes, that is the limitation of the chatbot. And the canvas, this is the canvas. The canvas in Zapier is like the dashboard of Airtable. This is where you can create your dashboard. And yes, create your dashboard, but it's called canvas. I'm sorry for using dashboard. This is where you can create your describe the process you generate. That is just, it works like the dashboard, Airtable dashboard. Zapier agent. Zapier agent is more like a pro version of chatbot. It does better than chatbot. Chatbots are limited because they are only confined to the resources you load them with. But agents, when you create agents, they can, when customers maybe ask questions that are not related to the informations given to it, it can use its knowledge to generate answers to those questions. So they are not limited just like the chatbot. They use their own, let me say, their own brain to answer additional questions that are not already embedded, the information embedded to serve the customers. And this is how a typical chatbot looks. Most websites I've seen, they usually come at the right hand side of the website. This is Zapier's chatbot. If we click on it, we are going to start new chat. This is basically how the chatbot is. You can chat and it will respond based on the information it was loaded with. And they called it Zapier virtual assistant. So chatbots and agents are like your non-human virtual assistant. That is basically it. App connections. This is where you connect your apps. Okay, you can see app connections. I've connected this app, this Google Form app, and I've also connected this Gmail account. This is any other app you connected, they literally shows here when you connected them and all that. If you connect your WhatsApp, it's going to show here your Stripe, Paystack, any app you connect. That's it. This is where it is going to show. Zap history. This is where your Zap history is shown. How your Zap ran and all that. If there was any error, it's going to show. You can see the tool that has run here. They indicated success. So if any Zap did not run, it's not going to indicate success. Like it's going to throw an error that the Zap didn't run. So you can go back and check where the error is coming from. This is basically what the Zap history does. And over here, the task usage. This shows you the tasks you've used. Zapier runs and what we call tasks is like your coins. Let's take the task like coins. If you don't have coin, you cannot buy anything. And if you don't have a Zap, if you don't have task, I mean, your Zaps and automation cannot run. And if you're using the free plan, you are given 100 tax every month. And but if you are using the pro version, you are given 1,000 task per month. If you can see, this is our plain task, which is like the main free version of Zapier is 100, and we've used one tax, so it's remaining 99 here. And because we are using the 14 days free trial of the pro plan, it's showing 0 over 900. So 900 plus 100 is the 1,000 tax we are supposed to use for this month, because we are on the pro free trial, 14 days free trial. This is basically where you see how your zaps run and all that. More, let's go over to this. More, what does this do? Function, developer platform. This is basically it on this interface. Yes, we've covered it. So we are going over to where we stopped earlier. Create. Let's go and create our first zap. You go over here and click on create. You can create zaps from here. That's the information. You can create automated workflows. You can create your tables from here, automated data storage. You can create your forms um, from the interface, apps, forms, and pages. You can create your chatbot, you can create your canvas, and all of that. But what we want to create is Zap. We want to create our Zap. We'll go over it. We've already created Zap. I think I'm going to, but I'm just showing you because I'm just starting again. Just have to show you this. So if you want to create your any Zap or any workflow, there are two. The first thing you should consider is a trigger. You ask yourself, what is a trigger? Trigger is like that thing that must happen before your automation works. Like it's like something that gingers. If this trigger, if there's no trigger, there's not going to be any action, and definitely there's not going to be any automation. So the trigger is your first action. You must select what you want to happen. Maybe I want you are a hair vendor. You say, okay, whenever anyone buys this hair, or whenever anyone pays, send them an email, like payment notification email that you've received their payment details. So whenever anyone pays is now a trigger. That's the first action before every other steps of this workflow. I hope you understand. And you can come over here. Make sure to always name your zap. Come over here and rename the zap and all that. You can duplicate a zap. This is not active, that means you can't transfer data. Maybe it's active on the Teams plan. You can create templates if you don't want to start from scratch. We'll start. This is starting from scratch to build your automations. Then over here, you can link assets. You can see the zap details here. You can add notes, like a small note. Maybe you are working for a client and you want them to know what this zap this workflow is all about. You click on this note. When you click on it, you can add. Let me click on it. Yes, you click on it, you can add anything. This zap is for so like all that. You can see have over 5,000 characters. You explain to the client so that when the client logs in, it does. If the person is not tech savvy, it doesn't have to be confused of what you've done. With the note you've written, they can understand what the automation is all about. So the note is actually helpful. You can change history of the Zapier. You can check the Zap run, whether it was successful or not. You can check the status of the Zap. You can add some advanced settings here for the Zap. You can check the versions of the Zap. This is basically what these buttons does. So let's go over to what we created before. So this is it. This uh, we took an example of showing creating a new zap, and our our trigger was when anyone fills out a form, a contact form, let them receive a message, yes, on via email. So you click on trigger, you go over here, you set Google form whenever someone fills out a Google form. But first, we went over to create the Google form. This is the Google form, it's just a basic contact form. And whenever anyone fills out this form, they will receive a message. You check in the form. This is form. You can change it from here if you want to. And what was the trigger event? New form response. I told you guys earlier that you make sure you read out these sentences under it to make it to understand better what your actions are going to be. This one says that this will trigger when a new form response is received. And that is exactly what we want, and that's why we chose it. And this one is new or updated form response. It will trigger when a form response is added or modified. Let's say someone has already filled out this form. When we are going to use this one is when everyone has already filled out this form. Mm? Then as they have already filled out the form, it will now be when it is updated. Maybe you went back to update what you imputed on the form. That is when we are going to use this trigger. But it is not what we are using. We are using new form response. So then we add the account. You know that Google Forms works with Google account. You add the account for the where you publish the Google form, and you go over here and click on continue. Mm, this thing I changed now, I've just given this configure an error from, oh my god, from, yes, contact info to confirm. This is the name of our form. That's where it's showing from. The form name is contact info to. Look at it here, contact info to. So you should make sure you choose the white form. You can see I have many forms here. So you should make sure you choose the best form for it, the accurate form, and you click on continue. When you click on continue test, you have to test. You can choose any day. You must have to, if you don't add any data, like as you are using form, if you don't fill out that form, this step is not going to be successful. So you have to fill up the form. And these were some of the previous forms some people filled out before we had the network glitch. So I'll continue. I selected this one. I'll continue with selected record. You can select anyone. It actually brought out 4 responses. So I'm going to go ahead with this response D. Continue with selected record. As you've continued, we moved over. It's just moved over to the action. And the action we want is send these people a message that, hello Janet, we've received your contact information. That is basically it. Yeah. To who are you sending this thing to? Let's go and map it. We're sending it to Janet, her email address. I said Janet. My email. This is the email. You map it. So all these other ones are not important, but these ones with asterisk, they are actually important, so you need to fill them out. What is the subject? Subject is thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Simple. You can personalize it by coming over here to click when you click on this plus sign, this is where you can customize. When I mean customize, I mean the way you receive um some emails, and most of the subjects are like, hello John, we received the application. That John, that your name, that's the process of when you say you are personalizing an email. So you can come over here to choose the field, and the field now is the name. You want the subject of the email to be like, thank you John. That's what we are trying to do. So you click on name. Body type. The body type means what's the type of the body of of the email. Is simply going to be plain, because you don't want to send random people a HTML and body email content. So it's you basically choose plain. And body, you must fill out the body. Let's thank you. Okay. Hey, hey, and I want to personalize this. We are going to click on the name. Hey Flo, we received your contact info. We will get back to you soon. This is where you can add from so and all that. So that is it. This is the body of the email. All these ones you can add them. You can add a signature here. You can label. You can add a labels. You can add attachments, but they are not important, or they are not strictly. You can add if you don't want to add. That's fine. So let's test. You must test this step. Let's test. Yeah. So for you to know that your action or your triggers are successful, you can basically use this green ticks here. It shows you here that your trigger action, everything you did here is successful, that your action step is successful. And even over here, if the configure action wasn't successful, it will not go. We can't even move over to the test action. And if the setup action wasn't successful, we can't move over to the configure action. So with this little symbols, you know when you're on the right path, when you're doing it correctly, or when your workflow is has an error, then you know where to fix it and all that. So when you are basically done, you can go ahead to publish. I've already published this, and it's asking me to publish a new version. Let me just publish a new version. Mm, submitted. I've already published it the first time we were doing this. That's why I have to, and I was using the same workflow. That's why I have to publish a new version. But if yours isn't like it, so just publish at once. Submitted contact info. Submitted contact info. Cannot publish. Yes, and that other time, I think this were the exact place we stopped back then. I was encountering an error publishing it. I've not confirmed the temp email I used to open this Zap account. So I went over the temp email and confirmed the email address. So that is it. We have successfully created our first Zap. Woo! I'm going to test this. Let me go and test it. I need to test it because no one is here again with me. Where is that form? I need to test it. Let me copy. Let me. I think I should use this. Let me use this and paste it here. Let me use a different browser. Hmm, I want to use a different browser and fill out the form. Oh my god, I don't want to sign in. Sign in. Oh, this edge you're giving me problem. Let me just go ahead and do this here. Should be okay. Let me switch accounts and use another account and fill out this form. Why are you wasting time to load? Hmm. Oh my god. We should go over to another thing. I'll come over, come back to it. So we've successfully created our Zap and is active. It has been published. Let's go back to the features. Zapier features. Zapier has different features. It has the basic features and the advanced features. I'm going to talk about the basic features this night and call it a day before I'll record to the next video. I think this thing has loaded. Okay, let's choose an account. Let me use this one. Mm, Chat. Mm, Let's feel like I want you to see the automation in action. Nigeria. Sorry. Let's go check. Oh man. Have you seen it here? I've received the email instantly. Thank the subject of the email. Remember what we did on the subject? The subject is thank you, then the name of the person. Let me go over it. Where is it? This is it here. Zaps. I want you to understand that all these little things are very effective. Let's open it up again. This is where the magic happens. So to the email that filled the form, then the subject we did there is thank you, the name of the person. That is why it's showing like this. Thank you, Jatu, because what I feel that's name of that form is Jatu. And we'll go over to the body. We started with hey name, the name of the person. So anybody that fills this form, if it is Deborah, what he or she is and what Deborah is going to receive is hey Deborah, we received your contact info. We'll get back to you soon. So this is done. Let's move on. Mm. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on to Zapier features. And we have different features in Zapier. We have the basic features and we have the advanced features. And these basic features are features like delays, schedule. Okay, let's go over here to see them. Let's go over here to see them. I want us to see how these features, how they take action. Let's edit. Can come over here to add step. So we have features like the delay, the schedule. These are basic features: delay, schedule, filter, translate, formatter. And some of these features, some can act as a trigger and some can only act as a trigger. They can't be an action, and some can only act as an action. Let's start with delay. We can search here delay. Delay by Zapier. Look at it here. Delay. We'll click on this delay. What this delay by Zapier does is, if you noticed, we created a form and someone fills out the form and the person receives an email instantly, like no no break, just immediately. If you are the person, let's say you applied for a job and you applied for a job, immediately you are just clicking on this submit button, you are receiving an email back from that company. You as a human being, you are going to feel somehow like, uh-uh, have these people already seen my application already? So this is where delay by Zapier comes to play. It delays a message. So since if we have a Google form for accepting any response, we can use the basic feature, delay feature, to delay sending when to send the message back to the customers or those that filled out the form. So what we are going to use, we'll come over here and we'll set it up. Delay by Zapier, that is what we want to use. What will be the action event? Is it delay after queue? Make sure to always read this little sentence here to get a view of what your action is going to do. This one says wait for a set amount of time after the last delay in a given queue, used to deal with race conditions and rate limiting. What this actually means is that if we use this delay after queue, what we are saying is when the first person, maybe yes, when the first person fills out a form, it should wait. When that person has been sent a confirmation email, then the next person submits a form record, that next person should wait for, like, let's any okay, let me use it. So we'll see what delay after queue. Just click on continue. But this is not what we are going to use. I want to show you how it's going. You can add the title, the queue title here. Time delayed. You can for value. What time? Which value do you want to? Is it delaying after this person sends an email and all that? Then time delayed for how, is it in minutes, in hours, in days, or in weeks? So when the first person has filled and the first person has gotten a response email, the second person feels, that person is not going to get a response email like after 1 hour that the first person received an email. I hope you understand this. That means it's in sequence. If the if Omo sends information via the Google form and Omo receives a response email like within 3 minutes, and the next person is Ade. Ade sends his Google form response. It's going to wait. If I set this delay after queue for after 2 hours, Ade's response Ade will receive his response after 2 hours. Omo received his own. I hope this I hope you understand this now. Let's check other type of delay. This is delay after queue. Delay for, it says wait for a set amount of time before completing your action. Like you wait for a set, and this one is general for like anytime anybody sends in their contact email. If you send your contact email by 10 10 p.m. at the dot, and we set our delay for you receive it in 5 minutes, that's when you receive it. And another person sends his or her contact email by 10:15, it's after 5 minutes he or she is going to receive their response. That is basically with what delay for does. And delay until, ways to run your action until a date or time. This one, let's say you want to automate social media postings. Okay, you will delay, you'll be posting it every Monday 8 a.m. This is where delay until works. Let's check it out. Yes, delay until. If we continue, this is not what we are using. We are going to use delay for, but I'm just showing you how these ones work, and you can go ahead to explore them. Delay until, continue if it is up to 15 minutes, continue if it is up to 1 hour, always continue. You can just explore all these features. But what we are going to be using now is delay for. Delay for action event, is it delay? Okay, delay for. So continue. Time delayed for the value. Enter time delayed. When do you want this delay to occur? Let me see. 5 minutes. Delay until minutes. This is the value. That means if you fill out this Google form, yeah, you're going to receive this email after 5 minutes. This is basically what it does. As simple as ABCD. And you go ahead to test. It's successful. So this is what the delay feature does in Zapier. The next feature we are going to look at is the schedule or filter. Let's talk about filter. Filter, filter. Okay, before you guys will say I'm stacking the workflow, maybe let's use this new one here. So, so I'm not. Did you see? Yes, I love what we are having here. I want to tell you what the filter feature does. And this is a new workflow. And I'm trying to add this filter feature as the trigger, and it is not going to. This is because the filter feature cannot be a trigger. It can only be an action. That is it. That's why it's not responsive. So let's check that delay that we used earlier if it can be a trigger. Also, delay feature cannot be a trigger. It can only be an action. I hope you guys are understanding this now. That's some of the features, the basic features can be, they can be trigger, some cannot be trigger, some can be actions. There's it. So I want to talk about the filter. Let's add the filter here. So the filter can be an action and it's active. That is it. The filter. What does filter by Zapier does? By the name is quite simple. It filters things out the way you want, excuse me, the way you want your information, your data to come in, you set them up. That is where it's though you filter them out so that it comes in the way you want it to. Let's go ahead and only continue if. What does this filter do? Only continue if. We have the test filter. This filter is not supposed to be just condition. Test is filter. Okay, let's choose field. Only continue if anything you want to filter at here. Can continue if maybe the name is this, the comment giving the ID is this. You can just map out anything you want to. Yeah, let's use the name and show an example. Choose condition. The name is in text. So let's say the text starts with, you are filtering with the text. We chose name, and you know that name is text. That means we are actually using the text feature. This is supposed to show me these features separately first, because we have text feature, we have the number feature, we have the date and time. Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's say the text is in, it's either the text is in caps lock or it starts with a capital letter. I'm going to remove this row. There is something missing here. This shouldn't come this way. But this is basically what it does. You can, if, okay, wait, let me go ahead. I'm sorry for this. If I'm confusing you, I'm really sorry. Name. You want to filter the name, the email name that are coming in. You choose the condition. Text contains. Text does not contains. Maybe the name contains anything, or most times you can use email. Most of us are not patient to fill out our email. Some people will fill out their email. They will know, that emails, they start with small letters. Yes. You can just let's use the email and make it realistic. Here's the email. This one started with the right format. You can say when text contains, if we use text content, let's say the email contains capital letter, so it will also go, because some people can make a mistake. and start inputting their emails with a capital letter, you can use this. Text does not contain, if you want to filter any email out that does not contain any word, maybe that does not contain the sign at gmail.com, at outlook.com, all those text exactly matches. Maybe you want to pick a particular email, you say this text exactly matches this email. That's when you use this action. That's when you use this condition. Text does not exactly match. When the email does not exactly match a particular email you're going to input, you should still go through. Text is in is text is in, maybe is in this response or is not in this response. That is it. Text is not in. So each of these conditions have their opposite. This is in, this is not in, this contains, this does not contain. So it's giving us varieties of conditions that we can work with. Text starts with, let's say text starts with a capital letter, or starts with, it doesn't start with a capital letter. Text ends with maybe gmail.com or just .com, or text does not end with .com. And since we are using email, you know that the email we are using is text format. So any these number conditions will not work for this, unless if you are choosing any field here that is a number. That's when you now use this number condition. Maybe number is greater than, number is less than. Then date and time. If the condition we added here is the date the form was submitted, that's when we can use this date and time conditions. Date and time, maybe date after, date before, date equals. This is what it just filters your information, and it brings it out the way you want. These things we did here, we can add another step here to say this information. We can add an Airtable step here. Say this information to go to our Airtable base. Anybody that fills out this form and will format their email, or will format their name, or will format any number they input on the form, that it should go to this Airtable base. You can add a step here that directs everybody that fills out this form. It filters it, then it sends the data to an Airtable base. So I'm just telling you how to format. You can format. Then boolean. Boolean is a data type, and this data type, it explains, it answers the question true or false. That's what boolean data type does. So this condition is either, when, if there is a boolean content here. So when the question, let's say people, there is a question on this form that says, where you have to put an answer, yes or no. So when you are using this formatter and you choose the field, maybe this email field we chose is the response people are meant to fill is yes or no. You now choose when the boolean is yes or when the boolean is no. This is what it does. Then for this, when an email exists or when an email does not exist, that is it for filters. Filters by Zapier. Like this. Let's go over to schedule. Schedule. We have five basic these five basic um Zapier features, and we have other advanced features by Zapier. So we've talked about delay by Zapier, we've talked about filter by Zapier. Let's talk about schedule by Zapier. Let's go ahead here to add schedule. Schedule, schedule. And that's not the spelling. Schedule by Zapier. The schedule feature is showing an error because it cannot be an action step. The schedule feature can only be a trigger step. That is why it's not active. So let's go back to this news app to add our schedule. Schedule. If, as you can see, is now active. So you should know the features that can be shown, that can be triggers, so you know when to use them. Schedule. What does you ask yourself? What does schedule by Zapier does? Select an event. If you can see this, schedule by Zapier, trigger event. What does it do? Custom frequency. This trigger event, it triggers at user defined interval. Days, weeks, or months. You can schedule. This can be like your, it can also be like your content schedule. Yes, you can use it for content schedule, and it will be the first, it will be the trigger. So you say schedule um the which day you input the particular day. This is custom frequency. Custom frequency means you input your own custom frequency. But if you don't want to use custom frequency, you can use schedule every day, schedule every hour, schedule every month, schedule every week. It triggers every hour, it triggers every month, it triggers. It's not only scheduling content, you can use it when you put out a form, like this form we created. If I schedule this, let's schedule every day. If I schedule every day, it means that this anybody that from now to the next 24 hours, anybody that fills out that form is not going to be populating. Yes, it's not going to be populating. It's only going to populate once every day. Once every day. Let's say I have a form here. I have that Google form here. Anybody that fills out this form, anybody that fills out this form, I'm not going to be receiving it, and they are not going to be receiving their um their response email immediately. It's going to be after every day, after every day. And if I add another action, or I add an Airtable action here to populate this data into an Airtable base. Let's take Airtable, Airtable. So I want the data coming in from this form. Okay, this form is supposed to be here before Airtable. Yeah, this is supposed to come first. Yeah, the Google form is supposed to come first. Train and error, because we are not customizing these flows. I just want to let Airtable. You schedule this every day, and people fills out this form. It's going to be populating on my Airtable base every 24 hours. Is excuse me, it's not going to be populating immediately anyone fills out the form, because the schedule trigger we added here is every day. And if I want this schedule trigger to only populate the information to my Airtable base every month, you can easily change it here. You can easily change it here every month. We want this to only every month. We want the data to come into Airtable every month, every month. Schedule, you can use schedule. Let's say you are an accountant, and or you are responsible for generating your company's report every month end. You can use schedule to automate it. Every month end, then you put the specific date. Every month end, send this report to my oga, send it to my boss. So these are the things, the few things you can use the schedule feature to achieve. That is it for schedule. Let's go over to, we've done delay, schedule, filter, translate by Zapier. Translate by Zapier. Let me use this app to translate. Ah, I've cancelled out that thing. Okay, translate by Zapier. Let's delete this. We don't want you. Let's use translate by Zapier. Delete this filter. So what does translate by Zapier does? You ask yourself. Let's add it first. Translate. Oh, why am I skipping these spellings? Translate by Zapier. Translate by Zapier is a very powerful basic feature of Zapier. It translates information in different languages. That is what Translate by Zapier does. Let me check my recording, please. Let me be sure. Okay, it's still going on. Thank God. So this is what Translate by Zapier does. It translates the information to different language. You choose the action events. Dictate language. You know that the first trigger here is Google form, and the language used here, the information people put out here is used in English language. So you can use this event dictate if you want to dictate the language that was used to submit the form response. So if you are working with clients that that their native language are not English, this can help you understand their languages easily, or understand what, or work with them efficiently if they put out their form responses in French, Swahili, any language at all. You can come here and use Translate by Zapier and understand what they are saying ASAP. You don't need to learn the language. So Translate by Zapier is very important. You can dictate the language, you can translate text. If I was sending this information to, let's say, a communication to maybe WhatsApp or Slack, we can say the information gotten, then put it on the Slack channel, let it be English. So we can just translate the text. We can use any action. Let's use translate. Let's use translate. Translate text. So any text received here is going to be translated. Oh yeah, now choose language. Translate text. Continue. Source language. What is the source language that this text is coming in? Is English. The information here is in English. Then the text. Which text do you want to see in a different language? Let's use the email body. You know the email body is in English. Where's that email body? Where are you, body? Mm. Oh, which one is email body? This is Google form. Ah, okay. Name cannot be translated to another language now. Oh my god. So we can't use this here. Let me go and use it after the email. That's when we'll get what we want. So this is the email. This is the email. I want to translate the email content. Translate. I want to translate the email content to another language. What was it? Choose event, translate text or dictate language. I don't want to dictate this language. Is I know it already. If you want to dictate a language, you can use it. Continue. Choose the source language is English. The email is an English language. The text, the text. I want to use the send email. Yes, this is the one I want. The step I want to use. You click on it. And what do you want to use? I want to use the body. Oh, search body. Oh my god, where is the body? ID label thread. Oh, this is going to work when someone sends an email. But this is basically what Translate by Zapier does. You can translate any language. You can use it to translate language. And the last one is Formatter by Zapier. This is not going through because I'm sending out this email to someone. That is why the translate by Zapier. I wanted to translate the body of the email to another language, maybe Yoruba, but it's not going. So it can be effective when we receive an email. Wait, let's create another app. Something like this. Let's delete it. Delete. Delete now. We don't want to delete again. Let's change it. Let's change this trigger. Mm, email. We received an email. Trigger event is going to be new attachment, no new email, new conversation, new email. Triggers when a new email appears in the specified mailbox. Yes, this is what we want. Account, you can put an account. Mine is already here. Continue. Label on mailbox. Inbox. They want to receive message that are from inbox. Test trigger. Okay, let me choose any email to test. Okay, let me use this one to test it. Address not found. Your message wasn't delivered. Says slow unread inbox. I want to choose another one. Zapier was granted access. Let me check this one. What a journey. Okay, precious. Okay, commented. Let's use this email A. Let's use email A to test it. Then we are going to change this action to translate. Because I was sending out an email on the previous Zap, I can't use that translate because no, don't delete. Let's just change it here. Change to translate. Translate. What am I translating? I don't want to dictate a language. I want to translate the text. Continue. Source language is English. English. And which what part of the text do I want to translate? Can you see? Here we can now see the body, the email body that is plain. But that other time we couldn't find it because that email was the one we are sending out. But this email is the one we are receiving in. We are receiving an email in a different language and we don't understand that language. So we want to understand it we want to translate it in a language that we can understand. That is where it's now active. So this is the one we are using. Body plane. This is what I want to this is what I want to translate. Target language. Which language do I want it to be translated to? That is the target language. Yeah, which language? Let's use Yoruba. Yoruba. Continue. I'm going to delete that table. This thing. Continue. Wait, before I test, I want to delete this. Oh, I really need to delete you. Oh my god. I really need to delete this. And let me add. Okay, let's just test. I think we should see it before it even goes to. Oh wow. Oh yeah, oh my Yoruba people, come and explain. It has tested it and it is now complete. Look at it, the translation. Wetin be this? Aworan Google. Ah, please so my Yoruba people. Afun Zapier ní ìráyèsí àkọọ́lẹ̀ Google rẹ̀. Hey, have you did you see? It has translated it. So if you are working with clients that don't speak Nigeria English, I don't talk that don't speak English, you can use the translate by Zapier feature to translate their language to your own target language. That is it for translate by Zapier. I think that is the last feature. Have I done formatter? We've done delay, we've done schedule, we've done filter, we've done translate, and we've done formatter by Zapier. Guys, this will be the end of the first class, and the second class is going to be starting with the advanced features of Zapier. Please, I need you to, I don't know, I hope you guys can just create your first Zap. It can just be from email to your, okay, like we have this translate by Zapier now. You can add another step. Any email you receive on your inbox, translate it to Yoruba and send it to my WhatsApp. This is what you do. Oh. Do it. This is first day practice. I'm not even supposed to do this WhatsApp, so you guys will figure it out yourself. But it's just simple. Email received from your inbox is going to help you and not always for people that don't always check their email. If you connect your WhatsApp to your Zapier, you always receive your email inbox on your Zapier. I say Zapier on your WhatsApp notification. You receive it there. WhatsApp notification, action event. What do you want it to do? Send me a message on Zapier on WhatsApp. That is what I want you to do. You connect your account. I don't want to connect mine. don't want to connect mine, but it's quite simple. You add allow Zapier to access your WhatsApp phone number, WhatsApp, enter your phone number, use the correct format plus for we that are in Nigeria, our code is +234, start with it. You are going to be sent an OTP code to your WhatsApp. Enter the you click on send you enter the OTP code and you send sharp sharp your WhatsApp is connected, and any message you received from your inbox is going to be translated to your native language. If you are Igbo, you can translate your own to Igbo. If you are Yoruba, you can do same. If you are Hausa, you can do same. If you are other African country, you can translate it to your native language and send it to your WhatsApp. And with this, we'll come to the end of the first class.